Hello, this video is to explore the positives of the Motoped 49cc fully automatic 2-stage clutch electric start pedal motorized bike, whatever you want to call it. So this is a response that I wanted to give to some of the negative reviews I've seen. It's overrated, it breaks down, blah blah blah. I've had this for 8 months. I've bombed it, commuted it. I've done just about everything. I've dumped it over a couple of times. Not my fault. One was my fault. The other was just being too nice, letting somebody ride it, and they did not handle it properly. So there's a few dings, a few cuts, a few scrapes, a few pieces of DNA on this thing, which if you do get anything with an exposed pipe like that right by your leg, wrap that thing up. I need to take my own advice and wrap it. It's not wrapped, and it will be. So if you want to check it out and see all the specs and whatnot, go ahead and look it up, motoped.com. You can check the exact ones that you can get from any of the vendors on that website. You can see the engine options and all that stuff. It's an E22 Honda clone XR50 engine, and that's about all I'm going to give. Information wise, what I really wanted to talk about was kind of its construction overall, and a couple of reviews on certain things that I think you need to accessorize or upgrade or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to get right into it. First of all, this swing arm, nice clean welds. The bike is dirty, my apologies, but the pictures will show how much fun it is. And the fact that I keep riding it. I don't really have a lot of downtime. It's setting into winter here in Washington State, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm probably going to sit down and detail a couple of the heavy areas, but after all, it is a motorized bike. It's a dirt scoot, whatever you want to call it. So it doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to perform. And it does. So a lot of guys are complaining about these bearings. They're set in. They're saying that they're cheap, garbage. They've blown out on them, so on and so forth. This is a freewheel for the jack shaft system, pedal or engine. You can use both. So you can hit a regular bike trail, or you can hit the back trails, or you can hit the road. Doesn't matter. But they say that these bearings blow out. One person in particular had only had it for, I don't know, the video updates were pretty regular, and it seemed like he didn't have it for very long and had already blown it out. I've had mine for 8 months. I've gone on-road, off-road. I've rode my son and my daughter, who are young, 7 and 10, on the front of this thing, with me sitting on the white dot, basically, and no problems. I weigh 190 pounds, and my kids, bring us up to, over 200 pounds, and performed great. Very similar speeds to what I'm used to, and overall it wasn't too bad. To say more about the speed, I get about 37 miles on average. That's average flat ground, maybe a little elevation up or down. I might get a little bit faster. I've gotten it all the way up to 43. I think maybe even 44, but 43 for sure. And that was going slight bit downhill and just pegged and just really with the wind and all that nice stuff. I did accessorize, added mirrors, turn signal, headlight, horn, switch. The horns wired in over here, never mind the black and reds. They're leading to my charger, and I'll talk about that a little bit too. The reason it's hooked up to a charger is I also got a headlight. Headlight was 35 watts. I upgraded to a 55 watt, and it's too much draw. And so it does take my battery down, and the stator doesn't keep up. So a stator upgrade, if you're going to keep with a halogen light bulb in the front, would definitely be a good option. If you're not, go LED all around and you should be good. I should have done that. I wired in brakes. Does not come with brake lights. I made the bracket. That's a reflector bracket attached to a piece of sheet metal. I have it actuated, so every time I press the handbrakes, it lights up. The way that I did that was a security sensor. Let's see if we can focus in here a little bit more. You can't really tell. I'm sorry. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It's a security sensor for a door. It sets into the door. I've got the magnet here on the lever in the little valley that's attached to the lever. You can see a little shot of it when I shine right there. You can see it in there. It won't focus quite so good, but that's held in there. I just have the pieces of Velcro for vibration purposes. I don't want to lose my brake lights. It could be better. And when you pull very loosely, it doesn't have to be full throttle or full brake. It lights up pretty instant. There's a little give because I didn't want to accidentally hit it like that and be braking. So you do have to be applying the brakes, but it comes on right away. That was my own invention. I highly suggest it. Brake lights are just a great idea. Turn signal. I will be putting in a turn signal flasher relay. I'll be slotting it in somewhere right here. It's got a little tab that will allow it to hang on this metal bracket right here. And I'll be able to hit the leads up. It's got an adjustable speed, so once I get it connected, I can connect the speed to reflect how fast or slow I want the blinkers to go. I'll be attaching side-mounted blinkers right here and on the other side in the same spot. But like I said, that's my design. That's my way of wiring it up. Some people may spend more money. This whole setup cost me $100 to add on to it. Now the bike is $26 to $3,000 depending on where you're looking. There are deals. You can look it up and find them on Craigslist every once in a blue moon, depending on where you're at. If you're closer to California or warm weather areas, you're going to find them a lot easier than I did. I'm one of the only guys riding one of these. I know of one other one in another town that's a pretty good distance away from me. It's halfway between Tacoma and Seattle, which is pretty good distance away considering that these aren't really for the highway, so I would probably never run into them. So most of the people around my neck of the woods have never seen one. And here in Washington, it is illegal by technicality, but I drive every single day that I ride the bike. I ride by the main headquarters of our police department, and I get the yeah man type looks. Everybody knows what that's like. If you don't, I'm sorry. If you are confused, it's when somebody looks at something you have and says, I want that. And that's what they do. It's really cool. It opens up a lot of dialogue. Harley guys like it. Sport bike guys like it. You're really differently accepted into the two-wheel community. It's not a moped. You're not riding around on a Poosh or a Tomas. You're riding around on something that looks really sinister, depending on how you set it up. It originally came with white fairings with stickers that said Motoped on them in like Honda black and red, offset by a little bit of white. I took that off, sanded them a little bit, and put on some truck bed liner spray paint. Probably could have done a better job, but it serves its purpose for right now. I added this to hold my phone. My phone is also my speedometer, so I got that going for me. It's got running lights. I'll turn it on real quick for you. Running lights. It's got turn signal, left or right and left, and the brake lights. You got running lights, brake lights, and the front headlight. It's also got a horn. With the mirrors and everything, it's essentially street legal. Now, I'm going to dig into it real quick, and then I'm going to call it a wash. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comment section below, and I'll try to keep up with it. These tires are 24 by 3. That is a 20-inch motorcycle tire. There is a Coker 20-inch tire that will fit this. I highly suggest taking a look at it and seeing if that's an option for you. These tires are $60, last about 500 miles on their tread. The Coker is $149 and will last at least 3,000 miles. The guy had never been asked that question before, so I will be testing those out and probably give an update. And also, anything that you wire up on this bike, buy it all first, then wire it up with color coordinated wiring. I did most of these pieces one at a time, and the wiring is a cluster bomb, and luckily I know what wire goes to what and how it works. I wrote down a schematic that I saved, but if it'll focus at all, it is a mess. So don't do that. It also has a little bit of trouble going uphill. 88cc deal will probably fix that up. A 88cc big bore kit, and I will be looking into that. But if there's any way to tune this up to get a little bit more torque going uphill, feel free to leave me a comment as well. I'm reaching about 15 minutes, and I think that's long enough for you guys to listen to me and so I'm gonna let you go. With any other comments or questions, hit me up. I will try to do better videos if I decide to do more videos, so let me know what I can do to answer your questions or give you any kind of idea. All right. Bye.